discrimination of homeless people here in Barrie. And everybody, I should agree, this is not right.
We're here to just show in a united front that we want to continue to support the people that are experiencing homelessness, that, you know, homelessness is not a crime. We need to make sure that people are served in our community with kindness and hope and humanity, because that's really what this is about. People need our support, and we need to not put barriers in front. We need to break down those barriers and find housing for people. If we have somewhere for housing for people and that is there's a secure place for them to be, then we can address all those other things like food insecurity and income insecurity and all of the different gamut of situations that have happened for people. The social determinants of health can be addressed, but if we're constantly having people in a fight or flight perspective and they can't actually, you know, have time to feel secure, and we're chasing them around instead of helping them and saying, no, we're not going to help you, then we're going to end up with a lot worse problem on our hands. We're going to continue to perpetuate the cycle, and we're going to have a lot of people that are ill and a lot of people that will die, and we just don't want to see that.
I'm here because I am dismayed that a city council would pass a motion banning people from handing out food or water or tarps or tents to people in the community. There is a good turnout from Grace United Church here tonight, and I'm really, really pleased about that. But Grace sees itself as part of its mission is to be neighbor in the community. So our building is used for a lot of community purposes and reaching out. We believe that to be neighbor to people, we also have to create the kind of community where people can live a life of dignity. And you can't live a life of dignity if you are homeless, if you don't have sufficient income to care for your basic needs, or if you're being stigmatized and blamed for the fact that you are homeless. The big message is, please don't go down this road of enacting a bylaw that bans people or requires them to get a permit in order to carry out compassionate, neighborly care in our community. When we stop seeing homeless people as neighbor, they lose their humanity for us, but we lose our humanity when we stop seeing everyone as neighbor.
So Section D2 is a bylaw that is on the books now that is very draconian, and it's going to punish everybody in the community equally. So what this means is if you decide you want to go meet with some friends down at Centennial Park and you bring them coffee and you bring them donuts, Section D2 says that you are in violation of the bylaw. It's a ridiculous bylaw, and you should never punish kindness. In fact, that's got to be the most un-Canadian thing you could ever do.
I'm here to stand up for the folks of Barrie's rights. Housing is a huge crisis in Simcoe County, and to take away their rights and to take away donation rights for these folks, I'm here on behalf of our local to donate tents and tarps to those that are unable to afford housing and that are forced to live on the streets, that don't have the resources that they need, nor do they have the funds. The Ford government needs to start putting money into public resources, into housing, into medical care, into educational care. Ford is only taking care of his and his own and corporate businesses, and it's time to start putting back into our communities, into our province, to make this the province that we deserve to have it.
Homeless people are people!
We are here. We came last night, set up, and we are camping out until the City Council meeting tomorrow evening that basically a bylaw is going to be passed that makes kindness a crime in our community, and we're not okay with that. We both lost our sons due to system failures, and we advocate for better supports for people that are struggling with mental health, substance use issues, and experiencing homelessness. And we're standing here peacefully as a community in solidarity to stand up for the rights of our friends that are unhoused and to stand up for our rights, our charter rights as human beings to care for each other.
Why does the city think that minus 20 is okay for a warming center? And it used to be minus 30. Do you know how cold it is with the wind chill from the lake effect? You know, I'm thankful that I was able to meet Christine and she helped me. I know, because I don't understand why the tents are such a big deal, because I slept outside on the city property for days and they never said anything because I didn't have a tent. Why can't you have a tent?
So, with working with a lot of my colleagues and, a lot of back and forth, and one of our really good service partners, we actually realized that the bills need to be modernized. There was never an intent, which is already existing, that we would ever criminalize the kind individual efforts of people.
If people were to go back to the original motion, you'll see the language did not include this wording that has been such a concern for our residents. And I've had many Ward 8 residents reach out, and all those that I've tried to connect with and reinforce that is not the intent. Charitable acts of kindness, giving are central to our community, and we do not want to punish that. That's not the intent.
Clear message that I want to put out is that with regards to this motion or the referral to staff, the existing bylaw that says that you can't provide those types of helps in public spaces, our staff are not going to be trying to implement or to enforce any of that between now and the date that the actual wording changes. So there should be zero fear out there that a bylaw officer or a peace officer is going to come and ask you not to give water to somebody who needs it.
We had a small victory. We didn't win. We got a reprieve, so we've got a little bit of time to take a little bit of a breather. So, I mean, a lot of people are claiming that it was a win and it was a victory, and I think it's dangerous to think that way, because they just deferred it back to rework the wording. So we don't know what's going to come down or what's going to come back. I think that council was afraid to actually go through with that, with the world watching or the country watching them, and so that's why it didn't pass through. And but we know their intentions, we know how they feel about people that are homeless, and so we need to just keep watching. I do want to just say the one thing that I have celebrated from this week is that so many of our friends participated in their first political action this week with our Camp Out for Kindness, and they got to experience the power of their individual and collective actions to make change. And so that's really what I thought was our win this week.